Suppose you invest $1,000 for 10 years at 10%. How much would you have at the end of year 5? So here this is a future value question because you're asked for the amount of money that you will have at the end of the timeline, at the end of year 5. Before we do anything, it's very good to draw the timeline just so that you're able to visualize what you are dealing with. So here we're going to draw the timeline, and we have the time 0, which is today. We have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. So we are investing $1,000 today, and we want to know how much we have at the end of year 5. So here this is a future value question, and we do know that the future value equals to the present value times 1 plus r to the power t. The present value, that is the amount of money that happens earlier on the timeline, and in this case it is that $1,000, so PV equals to 1,000. The interest rate is the interest at which the money is going to grow, and this example tells us that it is going to grow at 10%, and we need to input that 10% into the formula as a decimal. So you take 10 divided by 100, that would be 0.1, so the R is 0.1, and T, we are investing for 5 years. So we invest today, and we wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so T is 5. We can calculate this using the financial calculator. So what you need to do here is basically use this button right here to raise to the power of 5. So first we calculate 1 plus 0.1 to the power of 5, and then we multiply by 1,000. So 1 plus 0.1 equals to 1.1, and we raise it to the power 5. We use the y to the power x, which is the key right above the 9, 5, and then we multiply by 1,000. And we're gonna get a future value of $1,610.51. So the future value, the amount of money that we're gonna have at the end of 5 years, if we invest at 10% and we invest $1,000 today, will be $1,610.51. We can get this using the financial calculator too, and so we are going to be using these keys, the gray keys on the financial calculator. FV stands for future value. PMT stands for payment, and we're not going to be using that function in this chapter. We will talk about it later. PV, that's your present value. I over Y is the interest per year, and in this case it is the interest rate. It's just the R. And N is the number of periods you're investing, or T. So to be able to get the future value using the time value of money keys, what you need to do before you do anything is clear your time value of money calculations. You probably haven't used it yet, but just to get into the habit of doing that, always clear all your time value of money calculations. And to do that, we do second FV, second CEC. And the reason for this is that if you have, for example, inputted any numbers into those time value of money keys, the calculator remembers them, and so if you're doing a calculation, it is going to use the numbers from your previous examples, and so you are going to be getting wrong answers. So always get into the habit of clearing your time value of money calculations before you input your numbers, and the way to do so is through clicking second FV, second CEC. And now we are ready to input. We do know that $1,000 is the present value, so we input 1,000, and then you hit PV. The interest rate is 10%, and we keep it as a percentage here. We don't make it into a decimal. We turn it into a decimal if we're using the formula, but the calculator knows that it is a percentage, so you keep it as a percentage. So 10 is the interest per year, or the I over Y, and we're investing for 5 years, so 5 would be your N. So 5, and then you hit N. Next, you compute for the future value, so CPT FV. you're going to see that the future value is negative 1610.51. The number is correct. You're seeing it as a negative number because the calculator sees one number as a cash inflow, one number as a cash outflow. That doesn't really mean that the amount is going to be a negative 1610.51. It's just that this is a convention within for the financial calculator, and so just for the time being, just ignore that negative. The future value here is 1610.51.